Dr. Allen here. This is part 4 of the program on building a better brain. This part is on sleep. Deep sleep has been shown to help strengthen your immune system. It is a time of repair and restoration. REM sleep is about the brain. The brain is very active during REM sleep. The body is very inactive. In fact, it is essentially paralyzed. Some people have an abnormal clock. In humans, mutations in the clock gene have been associated with an increased insomnia, weight loss difficulties, and recurrence of major depression episodes in patients with bipolar disorders. We're talking about an internal clock. Sleep and psychiatric disorders. Sleep deprivation for one night can result in a 30% rise in anxiety levels, which can be mitigated by deep sleep, according to results published in Natural Human Behavior. In the past 20 years of research, we have not found a single psychiatric disorder in which sleep is normal. Matthew Walter, PhD, professor of neuroscience and psychology at the University of California at Berkeley. Regular hours. One should get up at a regular hours. There should be regular hours for rising, for meals, and for work. Blood pressure. Highest blood pressure is in the morning, and the lowest is in the evening. It is a good idea, if you're monitoring your blood pressure, to check it in both of these times. This is a picture of our circadian rhythm. The red is the cortisol level, and the blue is the melatonin level. So we can see that during the day, especially in the morning, the cortisol level rises and drops down during the night, whereas just the opposite with melatonin. The melatonin rises in the evening and peaks around midnight and gradually drops until the morning when it comes back to a lower level. This is a picture of the cortisol level in normal people. The upper limits is in the red line and the lower limits is in the yellow line. You can see in the morning hours the cortisol rises. This is because our bodies need to wake up in the morning and get our mind going, get our body going. So the adrenal hormones, including other hormones such as norepinephrine, also rise in the morning to get us going. But these need to drop down in the evening, otherwise we'll have troubles with insomnia and trouble getting to sleep. Top orange line in this graph shows a abnormal cortisol pattern which would affect your sleep, and usually this happens in somebody with a lot of anxiety, whereas the lower blue line is a normal cortisol level. Bright lights have been shown to be an effective adjunct for even non-seasonal depression. The suprachiasmatic nucleus is where our master clock that we've discussed briefly already is. This regulates our circadian rhythm, helps regulate all the hormone levels. This is an illustration of the suprachiasmatic nucleus and its location. It's a small part of the brain. It controls our rhythm. It's affected by light, behavior, and psychiatric problems can also originate if there's an abnormality in this part of the brain. Melatonin is a hormone that is critical to regulating our relationships with light-dark circadian rhythm cycles to a cellular level. It also functions as an antioxidant. Melatonin regulates over 500 genes, and interestingly, it has been shown to be elevated in blind people that may play a part in their decreased cancer risk. They have found that people that are blind have a higher melatonin level and a 50% less risk of cancer. We were designed in a garden, and our forefathers and our ancestors all worked mainly outside and did not have electricity as we have it today. They went to sleep by the stars, and this is how man was for most of our existence. So the light and dark cycles are important for our sleep regulation. However, today we find that people are in an environment that's not conducive to good sleep, such as pictured here in a typical, or maybe not so typical, of an office setting with bright lights, people working into the evenings rather than getting out for some sunshine in the daytime and for darkness in the evening. 30% of adults have reported short-term insomnia-like symptoms, and 10% of American adults deal with chronic insomnia. 35% of us get fewer than 7 hours of sleep a night, and a 2017 study found that poor sleep cost the U.S. business a staggering $411 billion in lost productivity every year. This is a way to help correct insomnia in some studies. Camping. A study was published in August 2013 in the Journal of Current Biology. The Boulder, Colorado researchers discovered that the synchronization of participants' internal circadian rhythm happened in just 1 week for each and every participant in that study, regardless of whether he or she was predisposed to be an early bird or a night owl, and their insomnia resolved with going camping. You don't have to sleep in a tent. You can sleep a little more comfortably, but you would need to rely on natural lighting and stay outside most of the time. The ideal sleep amount is 7 to 8 hours. Less than 6 hours or more than 10 hours have been associated with disease. Deep sleep. Adults 18 and older need anywhere from an hour and a half to 1.8 hours of deep sleep per night, which is about 20% of our overall sleep. Some people, however, may find that they need more in order to fully rest. According to the 2004 data from the Bureau of Labor Statistics, almost 15 million Americans work full-time evening shifts, night shifts, rotating shifts, or irregular schedule. Night shifts or shift workers have a higher mortality, more obesity, and more disease of all types. This here gives us an illustration of how we measure light and to give us an idea of the different lighting and how they interact and vary between each other. We have the moonless night, which is 0.0001 luxes. A full moon is 0.27 to 1.0 luxes. 50 luxes would be a family room light. An office lighting would be 320 to 500 luxes. An overcast day or a typical TV studio lighting would be 1,000 luxes. A full daylight, not direct sun, would be 10,000 to 25,000 luxes. Direct sunlight would be 32,000 to 100,000 luxes. This is an illustration of the retina. We see the retinal layers here, and the rods do blanch with light, and then they return to an unblanched state, and they transfer the nerve energy up to the brain, which crosses midline in the chiasmatic area of the brain where the suprachiasmatic nucleus is that regulates our circadian rhythm. Rhodopsin is a pigment found in the rods of the retina, enables vision in low light conditions. When rhodopsin is exposed to light, it immediately photobleaches, but is regenerated fully in about 45 minutes. Rhodopsin is used in the formation of visual image and also more sensitive to light. Melanopsin, the visual pigment that synchronizes the circadian rhythm to the day and night cycles, as well as being involved in controlling pupil size and release of melatonin, requires brighter lights to stimulate than rhodopsin. With a 10,000 lux light box, light therapy typically involves daily sessions of about 20 to 30 minutes, but a lower intensity light box such as a 2500 lux may require longer sessions. You can buy these light boxes, and especially in the northern countries, they help people that have depression that comes on in the wintertime or when there's not much light, and it can help you regulate your circadian rhythm. You need light during the day to get you fully awake and darkness at night so you can get your melatonin level up and get to sleep. Light therapy box could be designed to filter out harmful UV lights, but some may not filter it out. The UV light can cause skin and eye damage. Look for a light therapy box that emits as little UV light as possible. Sunlight is still the best way to get our circadian rhythm in balance. And ideally, we should be out in the sunshine in the morning and mid-afternoon hours. Sunshine, but not sunburn. Regular sun exposure is beneficial. Sunburned is not. Occupational sun exposure. Occupational sun exposure, we're talking about farmers and construction workers that are out in the sun for long periods of time. And there is an inverse association between longer occupational sun exposure and melanomas. Spending lots of time in the sun did not increase the risk. So what we're saying here is that the people that work out in the sun are not in any greater risk, and probably even less risk for the deadly melanomas as people that are not getting adequate sunshine. However, if you get intermittent sunburn, you are at increased risk for skin cancers and for melanomas. So we should try to prevent sunburns, but we don't need to prevent sun exposure. In fact, sun exposure is healthy. To summarize recent research, the health benefits of sun include heart disease prevention, reduced cancer risk, improved blood sugar regulation, reduced all-cause mortality. Here are some reasons why vitamin D from sunlight is so important. Vitamin D is essential for our overall well-being. It plays a role in bone health, prevention of autoimmune disease, cancer, and cardiovascular disease. Adequate vitamin D levels protect against age-related macular degeneration. Low blood levels of vitamin D increase the risk of many cancers. These include breast, colon, lung, prostate, and ovarian cancer. A multi-analysis of studies that include random and controlled trials show that adequate vitamin D levels have some effect on depression and have the same effect on depression as an antidepressant. Low vitamin D is significantly related to all-cause dementia and Alzheimer's dementia specifically. Sunlight not only benefits us by giving us vitamin D, but it also can activate nitrous oxide in our skin, which helps with various things, including blood circulation. Inflammatory. However, a benefit of sunlight that you may not know is that exposure to UV rays downregulates inflammation. With regular exposure to the sun, inflammatory markers such as C-reactive protein drops. And during periods when there is no exposure to the sun, these markers begin to rise again. For this reason, getting sufficient sunlight helps reduce chronic disease risk by putting the body in a less inflammatory state. Myopia or nearsightedness. Also, on this note, another of the health benefits of the sun is that sunlight boosts retinal dopamine levels. As a result, this helps prevent the development of myopia. This is just an illustration of the different levels of light from the ultraviolet to the infrared. We're going to be talking about the blue light, which is needed to be blocked in the evening so we can get better levels of melatonin. So our internal clock is started in the morning with the first bite of food or the first bright light. This could be our first bite of food here. And this is an illustration of the circadian rhythm. We see melatonin and cortisol compared here, with the cortisol in the red and the melatonin in the blue, with the melatonin rising at night, cortisol in the morning. The sunshine helps get the cortisol up, whereas the darkness helps get the melatonin elevated. Not enough or poor quality sleep has a detrimental effect on cognition, our ability to focus, learn, form memories, and execute effective decision making. Lack of sleep equals disease. There is a mind and body connection in the lack of sleep that contributes to obesity, diabetes, heart disease, and weakened immune system. Consolidation. One of the most vital roles of sleep is to help us to solidify and consolidate memories. As we go about our day, our brain takes in an incredible amount of information. Rather than being directly logged and recorded, facts and experiences first need to be processed and stored. And many of these steps happen while we're sleeping. Overnight, bits and pieces of information are transferred from more tentative short-term memories to stronger long-term memories, a process called consolidation. Sleep apnea is a brief period of breathing cessation during sleep. It is an important risk factor for cognitive decline. If you wake up gasping for breath, falling asleep during the day, snore loud or overweight, have hypertension, or have episodes of mental confusion, consider sleep apnea. The first step would be a home sleep study. Sleeping pills. Prescription sleeping pills such as benzodiazepam, Restoril, Xanax, Valium, and Zolpidem, Ambien do help you sleep, but the quality of the sleep is not as good, and one quickly becomes dependent on them. In the long run, they increase your risk of cognitive decline rather than reducing it. Trazodone, Tylenol PM, and over-the-counter sleeping aids are anticholinergic and in the long run increase your risk of cognitive decline. Sleeping pills reduce REM sleep, the time of vivid dreams and memory consolidation, and they reduce deep sleep, the time of restoration and also some memory consolidation. Natural stuff. Magnesium. Many people are deficient in magnesium, a mineral necessary for hundreds of biochemical reactions in your body. Magnesium has a sedative property and can be taken before bed to help you relax. This is a common over-the-counter medicine. Melatonin, which is a natural hormone, as we've discussed, can be supplemented to create a natural physiological sleep. Purity and reliability of the stated dosage have been a problem in some studies. Ashwagandha and Bacopa have some sedative effect for many. If you wake up in the middle of the night, tryptophan may be helpful. Lymphatic system. Scientists have recently discovered a system that drains waste from our brains called the lymphatic system. Research reveals that it functions most effectively during sleep and allows it to clear toxic proteins and beta amyloid that accumulate during the day, which can be contributing to Alzheimer's disease. A recent study reveals that even one night of sleep deprivation has a profound impact on beta amyloid clearance. Sleep hygiene. Try to stick to a regular sleep schedule. Ideally, we should begin to wind down as the sun is setting. Make 7 to 8 hours your sleep goal. No caffeine, or at least not after noon. Eat your last meal of the day at least 3 hours before bed. This promotes autophagy, which cleans out cellular waste products, and is increased during deep sleep. Sleep hygiene. No alcohol. The sedative effect of alcohol may seem to help sleep, but research shows that it disrupts your circadian rhythm and leads to less deep sleep and disrupts sleep. Don't exercise within 3 hours of bedtime. Exercise ramps up adrenaline and prevents sleep. Take your supplements a few hours before bed with a little water. While it is important to be hydrated during the day, you don't want to have to wake up at night to use the bathroom. Refrain from stimulating activity or conversations in the hours before you sleep. Wear blue light blocking glasses for 3 hours before bedtime. Make your bedroom your sanctuary. Keep it clean, uncluttered, and keep it dark. Blue light blocking glasses prevent the blue light, which has a detrimental effect on your melatonin and decreases the melatonin levels. So if you can wear the blue light blocking glasses in the evening, your melatonin will start to rise naturally. Continuing on sleep hygiene, sleep alone if you know you'll be interrupted at night. No TV in the bedroom. Minimize Wi-Fi. Evidence suggests that it may negatively impact overall health. Ideally, electronic devices in your room should be turned off or in airplane mode. Switch to the blue light blocking features in your electronic devices after dark. Completely darken the bedroom or use sleep mask. Any small bit of light at night will interfere with your melatonin production. Take a warm bath or shower. One of the best natural insomnia remedies around is a warm bath with the aid of a herbal oil. Obviously, the bath oils can not merely be any common oil. It needs to be a natural oil that is known for its sleep benefits, such as lavender, valerian, passion flowers, etc. The aroma of the oil will help you relax and get comfortable. Combine that relaxation with the herbal oils' inherent sleep-induced properties, and you'll be ready for deep sleep within just a few minutes instead of hours. Keep your bedroom cool. Research shows that keeping the temperature between 60 and 70 degrees Fahrenheit, depending on your preference, is optimal for sleep. If you tend to be cold, be sure you have a warm blanket to cover you. Try a weighted blanket. In the same way that babies who are swaddled sleep more deeply, some adults report a similar effect with a weighted blanket. The strategy is more effective for those who struggle to stay warm. Experiment to see if this is helpful. Use a white noise machine if you have regular interruptions by extraneous noise, such as the heating system, air conditioning, or outside traffic noise or neighbor noise. Many have relaxation sounds like rain, wind, or waves that you can set to your desired volume to drown out the bothersome noise. Be sure to place this as far from your bed as possible with the volume optimized to protect yourself from the electromagnetic radiation. If you wake up in the middle of the night with stress or anxiety, you might find that you're mulling over negative events in the past or feeling stressed about future events. Begin to simply focus on the gentle, natural rhythm of your breathing. Slowly breathe in out. Gradually transition to focus on some feeling of the soft blankets against your skin. Listen to the sound of your breathing. Look at the subtle images behind your closed eyes and taste the clean residue from your brushed teeth. Some more pillars of quality sleep. Get screened for sleep apnea. If you receive complaints about your snoring, you may want to get tested for sleep apnea, a potential dangerous condition with breathing that disrupts your sleep. Treatments can make a huge difference in both your health and sleep quality. Establish a regular sleep schedule. Going to bed and getting up at the same time reinforces your natural circadian rhythm. Your brain clock responds to regularity. Be smart about napping. While taking a nap can be a great way to recharge, especially for older adults, it can make insomnia worse. If insomnia is a problem for you, consider eliminating napping. If you must nap, do it in the early afternoon and limit it to 30 minutes or less. Set the mood. Reserve your bed for sleep and ban television and computers from your bedroom. Both are stimulating and may lead to difficulty falling asleep. Create a relaxing bedtime ritual. Take a hot bath. Do some light stretching. Write in your journal or dim the lights. As it becomes a habit, your nightly ritual will send a powerful signal to your brain that it's time for the deep, restoring sleep. Quiet your inner chatter. When stress, anxiety, or negative internal dialogue keeps you awake, get out of bed, try reading or relaxing in another room for 20 minutes, then hop back in bed. The U.S. Army Quick Sleep Techniques. Sit on the edge of your bed. Silent your phone and set your alarm for the morning. Now relax your facial muscles, first tightening them up in a wincing motion, and then slowly let your muscles naturally loosen. And let your tongue fall in any direction it wants to. Once your face feels like it's deflated putty, let gravity pull your shoulders naturally toward the ground. Let your arms dangle too, one side at a time. While doing this, breathe in and out. Listen to the sound of your breathing. With each breath, let your chest relax further, and then let gravity relax your thighs and lower legs. Once your body feels like nothing more than loose forming putty of clay, try to clear your mind for 10 seconds. If thoughts come naturally, let them pass. Just keep your body loose and limp. After a few more seconds, your mind will feel clear. Now picture one of the following scenes. You're lying in a canoe on a calm lake with clear blue skies above you. You're in a velvet hammock, quietly swaying in a pitched black room. If you happen to be a person who isn't great at visualizing, you can instead chant the mantra, "Don't think, don't think, don't think," for 10 seconds instead. That's it. At the end of these steps, which should take about 2 minutes, lie down. Ideally, you'll drift off to sleep within a few minutes. So here are some habits that we're encouraging. To buy some blue light blocking glasses. They're fairly inexpensive. You can get them on Amazon or other places and use them in the evening. Put on glasses 3 hours before you plan to sleep. Don't eat 3 hours before you plan to sleep. Go to bed and get up the same time each day. Get some sunshine every day before 4 p.m. at best. Drink most of your water before 4 p.m. Goals versus systems. A handful of problems arise when you spend too much time thinking about your goals and do not enough time designing your systems. This is what we discussed with the book by James Clear that we discussed last time on forming habits. True behavior changes is identity change. You might start a habit because it's motivation, but the only reason you stick with one is that it becomes part of your identity. Words matter. Change from "I can't have candy," restrictive statements, to "I don't eat candy," a more empowering. In this study, those that had the first statement gave in 60% of the time, where those that had the second statement gave in only 30% of the time. Well, it's bedtime. Here I am with my blue light blocking glasses getting ready for bed. I hope this helps you sleep better. We'll see you next time when we discuss laboratory tests and genetics.